Highland hills or the island hills, they're not Milan's hills and fair as these green foreign hills may. They are not.
I've been building this model railway now for about 4 years. 2 more to go, I think, I hope. It is based very loosely on the section of the Scottish railway system that I knew really well in the 1960s, the track from Edinburgh Waverley through Pullman Station to Stirling, Stirling being the gateway to the Highlands. The layout is situated in a 7 metre by 5 metre studio in the garden of our property in the lovely Blue Mountains west of Sydney, Australia. As I said, the layout is still under construction, especially at the Waverley end. A lot of time has gone into creating scenery that provides the feeling of actually being in the environment. The walls around the layout have been completely covered in sky, clouds and distant mountains, creating a backdrop in which the layout nestles. Much effort has gone into creating realistic scenery. Rock faces, vegetation and trees have all been created by hand on site. The pine trees are made from pig bristle twisted into a wire trunk. The deciduous trees are made from sea moss. There is even a mountain river rushing down to flow under the viaduct, where the fisher folk are hoping to catch salmon. All the buildings are constructed from cardboard and paper. The majority of the buildings are scale scenes, downloadable kits, which are excellent. Some buildings are kit bashed and some are designed and built from scratch. The little village of Polmont, where I spent most of my teenage years, has hardly changed in 50 years. The house where I lived still overlooks Polmont Station, where I used to catch the train to school and later to university in Glasgow. I really wanted this layout to have as much atmosphere as possible, so I took the decision at a very early stage to add lighting to most of the buildings. When the ambient light is reduced and the lights are turned on, the effect is pretty good. The William Wallace pub looks great at night. Aye, there'll be a few wee nips of whisky being served in there tonight.
This train is about to depart. All aboard, please.
As this layout runs on a DCC system, several of the locomotives are fitted with sound. Some are factory fitted with the real sound recorded from actual locomotives. Some I have fitted with sound decoders from My Local Sound, an Australian company. Both the steam train and the diesel motor unit have sound systems fitted in the coach immediately behind the powered locomotive. However, I still felt that something was missing. I wanted to create an atmosphere that would make onlookers believe they were actually part of the environment of this layout. And the answer to that, I felt, was sound. After searching the internet, I found a company in Colorado called Prycom who made exactly what I was looking for, and that would let me add just the right sounds to various parts of the layout. The sound system is housed in this little box over my control panel. It has a volume control and 4 buttons that control the sound outputs. There's the bagpipes, of course, being Scottish, church sounds, sounds from the station, and city street sounds. This looks complicated, but it isn't. This is the Dream Player itself, which is the heart of the system, which produces the sounds. This is the switcher, which will send the sound to any one of 4 speakers, depending which of the 4 buttons are pressed. And it can also play a background track when these 4 speakers are not in use, and that sound goes out through this little auxiliary relay here on the left-hand side. All the sound clips and the programs for running the system are stored in this small memory card here. The sound clips are downloaded from your computer just using a USB plug-in system, and you can have total control over the number of clips that you put on and how they're selected. When the sound system is first switched on, you hear the bird sound, the background track of bird sound. I've mixed together a whole lot of British birds. There's 2 blackbirds in there, a thrush, a robin, a great tit, a few other finches, and you can just hear the wood pigeon from time to time. Now it sounds like it's coming from this pine forest behind me here, but actually it comes from a 2-inch speaker hidden in the cutting beside the tunnel mouth. And there's a cuckoo hidden in there somewhere too. This neat little My Local Sound speaker is tucked into the bike shed at the rear of the primary school. There are 8 separate pipe tunes on this track, but I promise not to play them all. The system selects the one to play in a random fashion. So let's try the church. The speaker for the church is hidden actually inside the church, and it plays 3 different churchy sounds, 2 series of bell chimes and a choir singing. For the station, I mixed some typical steam-era station sounds with station announcements. This time, the little My Local Sound speaker is hidden inside a platform cabinet. And finally, the city sounds will come from Princes Street, Edinburgh, which is still very much in the construction stage. Anybody who's ever walked up from Waverley towards Princes Street will know you can't avoid the piper who's always standing busking at the corner. So, to finish up, let's listen to how these sounds can add to the atmosphere of a railway layout. Thanks for watching, and those of you who are into model railways, I hope you found this interesting. And as the gloaming falls on the highlands and the lights come on in the village, a lone piper starts to play, quietening the evening chorus from the birds. And in the distance a steam train can be heard, struggling up the hill towards the station. And with scenery and lighting and sound like this, sometimes I really feel that I am back in the green hills of home.
Because those green hills are not Highland hills, or the Island hills, they're not Mylands hills, and fair as these